Welcome to the deep dive. If you're looking at the Spanish property market right now, maybe as an international buyer or investor, you've probably hit this big question mark. It's what we're calling the Spanish property puzzle.
Yeah, it really is a bit of a puzzle because, look, on one hand, the market's absolutely booming, right? Especially with foreign cash coming in.
Huge numbers, aren't they?
Incredible numbers. We're talking nearly 90,000 deals just involving foreign buyers in 2024. So the interest, it's definitely there. It's massive.
But then you hear from these buyers, people from, say, the U.S., the U.K., Germany, the Netherlands, places where customer service is, a big deal. And they all say the same frustrating thing. I emailed about a really expensive property, cash-ready, serious buyer, and nothing.
Yeah.
Radio silence. It feels like agents are actively avoiding sales sometimes.
It certainly feels that way. And that frustration, it's really rooted in not quite grasping how differently the Spanish market is structured. So our mission today is to get past the individual stories, the anecdotes, and really drill down into the structural reasons why it works this way.
Okay.
Why speed, getting that sale done fast, nearly always wins out over providing that deep, dedicated service buyers expect.
Right, let's unpack that, because you're saying the absolute core finding here, the thing that explains almost everything, is the market structure itself. It's just incredibly fragmented.
Precisely. And to really get how fragmented it is, you kind of need a comparison point. Think about the U.S. You've got huge players like Keller Williams, Compass. They control big chunks of the market. There's structure, systems.
Yeah, standardization. And even in Europe, it's often more consolidated.
Yeah.
You mentioned the UK, the top 25 agency groups handle almost, 28% of sales?
Exactly. Or look at France, where you need to be a regulated professional agent. It's a different world.
Compared to Spain.
Spain is, well, highly decentralized. Think about this. Around 60,000 active agents, and they're spread across maybe 27,500 agencies.
Wow, so lots of small shops.
Tiny shocks. And get this, nearly half, about 44%, are solo operators. Just one person may be working from home.
So it's dominated by micro businesses. Even the big international names we know, like Remax or Century 21, they're in Spain, but they don't dominate.
They exist, sure, but they can't really consolidate the market in the same way. The structure is just too localized, too fragmented. It resists that kind of top-down control.
And this fragmentation, this structure, it directly causes the service issues buyers experience through something you call the competition crunch.
Absolutely. It leads straight to it. So Spain has roughly 1.2 million properties listed for sale at any given time.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of choice for buyers. If you break it down per agent, what was it, about 20 listings each? That doesn't sound completely overwhelming. Why the poor service then?
Because that average number hides the real story. Here's the absolute crucial statistic, the one thing you have to understand about the Spanish market. 75% of those properties, they have non-exclusive listings.
Hold on. 75%, 3 out of every 4 properties. That means what? 5, 10, maybe even 20 different agents could all be trying to sell the exact same house.
You got it. They are literally racing against each other, fiercely, all trying to get the commission for that one sale. Whoever brings the buyer and closes the deal first wins everything.
Oh, okay. So if that's the game, spending weeks educating a foreign buyer, answering complex legal questions, translating documents, that's just not efficient.
Not at all. The priority becomes speed, certainty, get the deal done. So if your email inquiry seems complicated, if it needs translation, if it even hints that you're just browsing or need lots of hand-holding,
You sink to the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
Instantly. The agent has to focus on the calls or emails that sound like a quick, sure thing.
It's a survival mechanism, a ruthless filter driven by the clock. And it explains why so many perfectly genuine, serious international buyers just get ignored. Okay, so if the structure pushes speed, let's break down the 5 specific reasons why agents often go silent on those more complex inquiries.
Right. Let's start with reason 1, which seems to feed a lot of inconsistency.
Yeah.
The really low barriers to actually becoming an agent.
Yeah, this is huge. In many countries, you need proper licenses, maybe even a degree. You have to pass national exams. It's a profession. In Spain, nationally, there's none of that required.
So what do you need?
Basically, you just need to register yourself as self-employed and autonomo under the correct business activity code for tax purposes. That's it.
Wow. That explains why you sometimes hear it called the job of last resort.
Mm.
People can just drift in when other work dries up.
That's often the case. They come in, maybe do a few deals without much formal training, and then drift out again when something else comes along. There's a lot of churn.
And that churn, that lack of maybe deep commitment or training, it must make it hard for buyers to rely on consistent advice or even expect the agent to still be there in 6 months.
Exactly. Long-term relationships, consistent service. It's tough in that environment. And this links directly to reason number 2, the knowledge gaps.
Okay, because real estate isn't just sales, right? It's complex. There's law, technical stuff. Where do you see the biggest gaps typically?
Well, most agents understand the basic process. They know how to handle the deposit contract, the ARS, and guide things to the notary signing. They get the steps. But the deeper stuff, often not so much.
Like what specifically?
Things like complex urbanistic law. Is this extension legal? Can I build a pool here based on the land classification? Or detailed knowledge of building quality, structural issues, energy efficiency regulations. That requires real technical training.
So if I'm that international buyer and I email asking about the legality of an added room or the potential for renovation under local zoning rules, the agent might just not know.
Often, yes. And rather than admitting they don't know or spending time they don't have trying to find out, it's just easier to, well, not reply. Engaging risks giving wrong information or getting bogged down.
Which could lead to huge problems later if you buy based on bad info, like buying a place with illegal structures.
Absolutely. Fines, orders to demolish, it happens.
Uh-huh.
So ignoring the detailed email becomes the path of least resistance for an agent who lacks that specific knowledge.
That makes a scary amount of sense. Okay, let's shift gears to reason 3. This feels like the biggest mindset adjustment for international buyers. Agents work for the sellers.
This is probably the hardest thing for buyers from, say, the US or UK to really internalize. In Spain, the standard model is the agent signs a contract with the seller and the seller pays their commission.
So their legal duty, their financial incentive, everything lines up with the seller's interest.
100%. Their goal is simple. Get the highest possible price for the seller as quickly as possible. That maximizes their commission.
So, if I understand this right, the agent isn't focused on finding me, the buyer, the best property at the best price. Their main job is finding listings, convincing sellers to hire them, and then getting the seller's asking price met.
Precisely. They're focused on captation, getting listings, and then closing those listings for the seller. Negotiating hard to save you, the buyer, $20,000. That actually reduces their commission slightly. You, the buyer, are essentially the tool to achieve the seller's goal. You don't have someone truly representing your financial interests at the table in a standard transaction.
Okay, that's a critical distinction. Now, reason 4 sounds fascinating, kind of a cultural thing. Inmoturismo. Did I say that right? What is it?
Inmoturismo, yeah. It's a real term, maybe colloquial, but everyone in the industry knows it. It basically means property tourism.
So, people just looking at houses for fun, like a weekend hobby.
Exactly that. People who are just curious, maybe dreaming, exploring options, but they have absolutely zero real intention of buying or no financing ready. They just like viewing properties.
I can imagine in tourist hotspots, the Costas, the islands, agents must get swamped with this.
Totally, especially during peak season. So agents have to develop really strong filters. They get very good at spotting emails or calls that sound, vague, non-committal, maybe asking very basic questions anyone could find online.
They develop a sort of sixth sense.
Kind of, yeah. They look for signs of seriousness, proof of funds, specific requirements, clear timelines. Unfortunately, this heavy filtering designed to weed out the time wasters.
It ends up catching genuine foreign buyers, too.
Yeah.
Maybe because their communication style is different or they're still figuring out the process.
That's often what happens. A polite, exploratory email that would be standard in London might read as unserious to a busy Spanish agent dealing with dozens of inquiries. Some agents in very hot areas have even started charging a small fee just for a viewing, purely to deter the inmoturistas.
Wow. Okay. And the final point, reason 5. Things are changing, but professionalization across the board is slow.
It is slow, but there is progress, and that's important to acknowledge. Some regions, Catalonia, Valencia, the Canary Islands, are key examples, have brought in mandatory registration for agents.
What does that involve?
It usually requires agents to prove they've had specific training, they need to register officially, and crucially, they must hold professional liability insurance. This is definitely a positive step towards greater accountability and consumer protection.
But it's not nationwide yet.
And even close, unfortunately. The latest figures suggest only about 46% of agents in Spain currently operate under any kind of regional mandatory system like that, the majority. Still operating without that compulsory oversight, training, or insurance requirement.
So summing up, we've got this fragmented market structure driving behaviors like prioritizing speed, low entry barriers leading to inconsistency, knowledge gaps, agents working solely for sellers, filtering out